are going to go over the import feature. So if you have a database that you have exported from one of your other CRMs, I do have blank samples so that you can go through and create one from scratch. Or there is also a third-party app that we recommend that will get your contacts off of your phone and start that with a CSV file. Remember that you cannot do an Excel spreadsheet or a numbers file format. You do need to make sure that it is going to be a CSV file. We do not recommend having more than about 400 or so in each file. If you are trying to import more than that at once, please split them up into multiple files so that you do this a couple times, and that keeps the processing time down so that it doesn't accidentally error out. So this is one of the sample ones that I have created just to kind of give you an idea of some of the columns that you may have in yours. If you do use one of the third-party apps, you may just have first name, last name, phone, and email, and then you may have a bunch of blank things. So as you're going, you can always scroll left and right and see what any of those are. Make sure that you do have those headers on the first row of each of your columns to label any of those, and then that's what this is on top. This is what is in the spreadsheet on that column on the very first one. So if you don't have any labels, that's actually going to be the first person that you want to import that it will be skipping. So the drop downs are just going to let you choose any of those different options that we have in the CXM for our field labels. And so you're just going to match them. This one is a first name, so we're going to mark that one as first name. Then we have last name. We then have a phone number. So you do have the option to have two phone columns. So we're going to go ahead and do phone number 1. This is one of the required fields. You can see that it has this star. Email is also a required field, so it'll do email 1. We'll start with that one. Again, if you do have 2 email address columns, you are welcome to set up an email 1 and an email 2. Just make sure that you have cleaned up your database before you do your import. That way you can make sure that all of them are in the correct one. You want email 1 or phone 1 to be more full, and then only the ones that you have 2 phone numbers or email addresses to have any data in that phone 2 or email 2. Now you can also add any of their mailing addresses. So this one we have only one of them has an address, so that's okay. It won't put any information on the other one. So address is for mailing address, and then we're going to match up city, and then we're going to match up state, and then zip code. Remember, this is a scrolling list depending on how big your screen is. It does go all the way down to this user 1, 2, 3, and 4. So some of those are a little closer to the bottom. Now we do have a client role, source, and a pipeline here, but a lot of you won't have those. So I'm not going to select those as those headers, and we'll just see what the screen does for those other required fields. So you can see client role is required that we don't have. We did do first name and last name, but we don't have full name. We don't have pipeline, and we don't have source. So if you do have any of those, you're welcome to go ahead and label those, but I just want to show the full screen on what happens if you don't. So once you have as many of those labeled that you do want to keep, you're going to hit this blue check data button. This is telling you that it is determined we do not have a party name. So we're going to auto create that and map that column for us. So we're going to hit yes. And how we want the full name to be created is we want first name, and then we're going to click add and add last name. So that's going to automatically combine their first and last name and add another column that will be for their party name. So you hit create. And then you can see that full name is a new column the system created back here. Then you're going to hit check data again. And it says that we do not have a source column. Remember, we did not label this one as source. So we'll hit yes. It lets you know that this cannot be undone. Go ahead and hit OK. And then you can see that there is another one that popped up for source that it created. and you can go in and choose any of those sources. So it will default to other, but if you want to go ahead and say, hey, this one's my neighbor, and this one's part of my sphere of influence, you can label those any way that you want to as it's adding any of those columns that you didn't have. Okay. Once you're ready to proceed, you'll hit check data again. And now it's saying, again, we didn't label our pipeline, so it doesn't know that's what that is. It's just ignoring that data. And so it's asking us if we want to create a new one. We're going to say yes. The process can't be undone. Okay. And then there is another column for the pipeline. Now, if you are uploading your sphere of influence, defaulting to incubate is going to be a really good idea. But say you are importing from Facebook leads, or you just want to make sure that you have spoken to everyone, you can go in and change any of these. Say this one's SOI, so I wanted an incubate neighbor. I probably actually know too, but maybe I want to go ahead and reach out to that neighbor and keep them in my new first. You can do these however you want, or let them stay with that value that it defaulted to. Okay. And then we're going to hit check data again. So client role was another one. We have one as by and one as blank. So without mapping it, it's going to say we didn't see it. Do you want to create it? Yes, we do. This process can't be undone again. Okay. So then we're going to go over, and because I know we had this one as a buyer, we'll go ahead and do buy. This one was blank, so it defaults to unsure. We're going to go ahead and leave that there. However, if it was sell or lease or buy, you can always change those as well. Now, it's not that important that you have to do this while you're importing. If you do want to change any of these values once they are in your CXM and you're going through them, you can always do this again later. The only fields that are ever locked in your CXM are as if you have any company leads. Okay. Then we're going to hit check data again. And then you want to check up here. So it says 0 are ready. So none will import as is. And we had 2 fail check. Attention is required in order to import. So on John Doe, we did not have an email address, so it went ahead and put in none@none.com. So anybody that does not have an email address in your spreadsheet, you do not have to automatically go in and add none@none.com. The system will do that for you. Then we're going to check again. Now John has moved. He's no longer in fail check 1 where it says attention required. He's now in fail check 3 that says it's a duplicate company lead. So because I put in this fake number, apparently we have that fake number in our system already. So it's just letting you know that it's going to skip this. It will still import any of your other data. However, we still have a fail check 1 on this one, so it can't import this one either. The reason for this is because there is no unique data. Our system ignores any of them that have all zeros. It also ignores none@none.com because those are the defaults for if you don't have any of that data. So we're going to go ahead and make up another phone number. Okay, and then we're going to hit check data again. Now you can see that this changed to ready. And we have one ready over here. So out of all of your people, no matter how many people are in this CSV file when you start, it will automatically put the ready ones on top and keep the fail check safes down on the bottom. And so you can always scroll up and down just like you can scroll left and right in your database and make sure that you are finding all of those. It will automatically sort them for any of these results. However, it will not do anything about the company leads. It's going to go ahead and skip those because, again, we do not want duplicates in our database. That's going to go ahead and let you know that we have them in our database in the ISA department, or one of our agents could already be working them, and we don't want to create any tension there by having duplicates and duplicating their action plans, their auto emails and their auto text messages and things like that. If you do have any people the concern that you want to work with that are already marked as a company lead, please reach out to me or any of our staff members, and we can assist you with creating a room for you for that person if you are working together. Okay. You can see that fill check 2 is the only one we did not run across today. This is if it's a duplicate agent lead. So that means that person is already in your CXM. So again, it's not going to duplicate that for you. It'll go ahead and skip any of that. So you don't have to worry about, oh no, I'm not sure I have this export, but how many have I already imported? Anything that's already in your CXM or anything that's already a company lead will be automatically skipped so that only those new ones become ready. Once you are satisfied with any of those results, you're going to go ahead and hit the green import data button. Again, it should be super quick. If you have more than 400, please make sure that you do something different, split those up a little bit. It does cut down that time, both for those checks and for those imports when it's actually adding them to the system. But if you have any questions or if you're having any other errors, the most common thing is that it does not have an email address or a phone number. And so you do want to make sure that you do have one or the other at least. Again, our CXM is mostly set up for those calls. So phone numbers are usually best. However, if you do have some people that don't have emails, or that you only have their email and you still want to blast them and things, we can still get those into the system. Okay.